those who are suffering with coronavirus and with other illnesses, and we pray you would bring your healing to their lives. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem from Orlando, Florida, please welcome Katina Mack.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's hear it one more time for Katina Mack for her performance.
Who's the next superstar in NASCAR? We might meet him here today. It's the season opener for the NASCAR Xfinity Series live at the Daytona International Speedway. Welcome in, everybody, to our broadcast booth with two series champions, Brad Keselowski and Clint Boyer. I'm Adam Alexander. So, fellas, tell me about race day at Daytona.
Well, I think it's emotional. You know, it's the balance. The excitement of everything you've worked for is to get to Daytona. You, your family, everything leads to Daytona. Now that time is here. It is now. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, Clint, this might not be the Daytona 500, but don't tell those drivers down there. It's their Daytona 500.
Right.
This is their big opportunity to put their name on the world stage.
And for many drivers, it is the first time on the big stage. So with that, because this place can get crazy and out of control, what kind of a race do we expect?
All of it. Everything you said, you know, everything we've seen. We've been here for weeks. We've seen the Cup practices. We've seen the Clash. Oh, my gosh, the Clash. We've seen it all. We've seen, you know, single file around the outside. We've seen double wide. The truck race last night, those guys had their hands full, put on a heck of a race. I was pumped up after watching that, and I think these guys are going to do even better.
Yeah, I think you're right, Clint. We're going to see a mix of all different types of racing today. We're going to see some pack racing. Probably going to see at some point a little bit of single file racing. The stage breaks here are pretty tight together, so you're going to see a lot of pit strategy come into play. We're going to see it all today.
If I'm a young guy in this race, right now all I'm thinking about is go, go, go. How do you harness that excitement when you're competing at this place?
Well, I think it's that emotion, right? It's that excitement. You've got to be able to harness that. You've got to be able to find somebody that you can work with that helps. Putting that helmet on is probably the best thing that ever happens to a race car driver, and getting out there and taking the green flag.
Well, Adam, you can't win when you wreck. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell these guys. If I'm their crew chief, if I'm their team owner or spotter, is finish the race. And if you can't do that, you're definitely not going to win today.
They don't call Daytona the world center of racing for nothing. It's a special place. It's a special day. Let's go trackside and get the command of fire engines here at Daytona.
And now to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and 7-time Daytona 500 champion, the King, Richard Petty.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The King won 7 Daytona 500s. That's the perfect way to get this race day going. The fans are settled in and will go green next on FS1. Mostly cloudy skies, but it's a perfect afternoon for racing in Central Florida. And for the 57th time, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, ready to take on the high banks at Daytona International Speedway. We fired up the engines. The cars are rolling off the pit lane following the pole sitter, Schneider. So let's go from the driver's seat. Chase Briscoe is the guy we'll highlight all day long. He won once a year ago, got married in the offseason, and if you know Chase, you know he is a dog lover. That's Ricky in Cali. But today his focus is getting a checkered flag. He starts 10th this afternoon.
Let's get him on here, boys. Hey, Chase Briscoe, it's Warrior up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
All right, man, I'm looking up here. You're starting 10th. The only ally I see is Austin Syndrich back here in 15th. That's 2 Fords. How you guys going to stack up, find each other on the racetrack, and more importantly, beat all these Chevrolets in this field today?
It's definitely not going to be easy, but, obviously the Fords on the Cup side specifically do a really good job of working together. And we might be short-handed, but we got 2 really good Ford Mustangs. So looking forward to trying to get this highpoint.com car up front, keep it up front. It'd be pretty cool if we can take it to victory lane for their first race. So it's going to be fun and obviously probably chaotic all day, so it's going to be a good one for the fans.
You betcha, Chase. Brad Keselowski now up in the Fox booth, and we're thinking about you in a little bigger sense. The whole season about to get started here in Daytona. The Big Three has all left and graduated up to the Cup Series, and a lot of people are saying it might be you that comes next, but of course, you're one of the front runners for the season championship. How are you dealing with that pressure before this race gets started?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different scenario than I've been in. I feel like I've always kind of been the underdog. So looking forward to hopefully proving everybody right that we can be that guy to beat. And obviously, with the Big Three moving up, it definitely creates an opportunity for to beat somebody new. So hopefully we're one of those guys. And we're definitely up for the challenge, and it starts today. So we're going to try to have a good run and see what we can do.
All right, we'll be watching. We're wishing you the best today and all season long.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Adam, this world's about confidence, and this is his opportunity to find that confidence. And if he can find that on a race like Daytona right here to start out the season, that's exactly how you find your way in the Cup Series.
You know who was feeling confident here in 2014? Regan Smith. He won this race 6 years ago. Today he's on pit road for us. Good afternoon, Regan.
Well, good afternoon, Adam. Another team that was feeling confident today earlier was that of Kaulig Racing, and you see behind me Justin Haley's pit box right here. Unfortunately, they had an issue in qualifying with 2 of their 3 race cars. That meant that those 2 cars went home. That would be the cars of Ross Chastain as well as the car of A.J. Allmendinger. What they did was they took Ross Chastain, they put him in the 38 car of Jeff Green. Jeff Green was nice enough to hop out of that car, but that is not Ross's stuff in that race car. It is all Jeff Green stuff. It's a new car to him. He's got to learn that as the day goes on. They still have Justin Haley out there, though. He qualified 3rd. He's got a fast car. They're excited about the prospects for him. Matt?
Now, Regan, Clint, and Brad talked about emotion and on the biggest stage, and Jeff Burton has certainly seen it all. A few feet away from where I am is where he spent victory lane with his father back in 2002. Now, this is an opportunity Saturday, the first of 11 races in 2020, trying to maximize that to get a full schedule maybe next year. He knows he's got to be disciplined in an undisciplined situation, but he's got 3 teammates. He finished 4th here 3.5 years ago. Maybe today's the day. Guys?
He started 4th today, rolling off behind one of his teammates. Jeff Gordon won the Daytona 500 3 times, and I think someone stole his helmet.
I love it. Look at this man. I can't get it off. I can't. Oh,
that's much better.
All right, baby.
Yeah, we're good.
That's just mean. And now as we see it from true angry faces there, huh?
Yeah, the 3 things, man. The 3 things it takes to survive. Survive, survive, survive. We've lived it, right? We've seen it in the Clash. We've lived survival. It's so hard to do. Blocking is so important here. It's important. Why? Because it works. It's also important because it can cause the big one. And then these allies. You got to find your allies. You got to find your teammates and work with them.
Well, I'm looking, Clint, at stage strategy. Our breaks here are lap 30 and then another 30 laps in. Well, the fuel window is just barely beyond that. You can find yourself in trouble really easily on gas. And it seems like when you get to that last stage, someone's always really close on it. Then the high line. The last 2 times we've been at Daytona, we've seen the high line really take off. Yep. What you don't want to do is get stuck in the bottom lane when the high line starts to form and go all the way to the back. And then my last point, of course, pushing on restarts. If we get a late race restart, what lane is able to take off, and will NASCAR call the pushing rule here in the Xfinity Series?
No locking bumpers.
Yep, exactly. With all those changes, that makes it completely different for how these restarts are going to play out.
Just about time to go green, and as we get set here in Daytona, the all-new Toyota GR Supra leads the field. The off-season is over, and when that Supra hits pit road, the field will be in the hands of Schneider. First career start, got the pole earlier today for Richard Childress Racing. To his right, Michael Annett, who won this race 1 season ago. It's his only career victory.
Yeah, my first opportunity came in that 21 car for Richard Childress Racing. It's neat to see Schneider take advantage of that. You always know you're going to be fast when you come to Daytona on qualifying day when you're at RCR, and certainly Schneider is reaping the benefits of that for sure.
You can't beat race day at the world center of racing. It's time to go green at Daytona. Sit back and enjoy a wonderful Saturday afternoon.
Great push. Hooked up already. And that's your push you talk about, Brad, right?
Yeah, look how well it works, Clint. Already 2-3 car lengths on the outside lane just from a great push by Justin Haley. Schneider's way out front now.
But this is what happens. You break that plank, and here they come. That outside line's forming big time. Better get up and block that run, what you see him doing right here.
It's a big rubber band for the fans at home. And here you can see it's getting crazy already, because when that rubber band comes back, it snaps hard. Look at the chaos. 3 wide already on lap 1.
That's Jeff Burton in the blue 8, sliding down behind his teammate Michael Annett, who swings to the high side in front of Haley.
You know, you see the blocking already. It's so important to do that on a timely basis. Whoa!
And already one around. That's Cesar Beccarella in the 90.
That's a product of just being in dirty air right there in the middle. Did a great job saving it, keeping out on the inside wall, which is extremely difficult when you spin off a 4. But that dirty air being in the middle like that can take the air off your car, get loose, and away it went.
No yellow. We're still green here, guys.
That is not good.
He's going to have to get tires put on that car, but the leaders, they're still going.
3 wide coming off a 2. Back behind that 4-car breakaway. Now 5 cars at the front. Single file riding that double yellow line.
It looks like the 90 car Caesar. He gets stuck right in the middle here. That's the worst spot. You've got no air on the outside or on the inside. Gets loose, Clint, and just holds on. Nice save without hitting the wall, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but more importantly, look what it does to the race. You always, as a racer, you hate to say this, but you almost look for that opportunity to break the thing up. Maybe not, you know, hopefully he saves it, which he did, but it really gives you an opportunity, if you're behind, to pounce on the opportunity and get a run on somebody, because it really does shake the pack up right there.
Caesar's going to lose a lap here on pit road. He'll be out here almost 2 laps down by the time he gets going.
Good news for him is we likely will have some cautions as the afternoon goes on. We know we're going to get one when the stage ends at lap 30, so hopefully for his sake he can stay in the game and be a part of the action late.
Clint, I don't know about you, but I think it scared these guys to death because they all single filed out really quick right here.
Well, and it should. You know, survival, survival, survival. We said it. You know that those crew chiefs are telling those guys, the spotters on the roof, all right, guys, we got to get to the end of this thing. 300 miles is a lot to ask. You cannot win on the first lap. So as soon as they saw that, yes, of course it did. They're going to get single file. They're going to try to, mind their P's and Q's here for a little bit, but it'll get back to it.
A lot of Chevrolets in this field today. They won the last 5 races here at Daytona in the Xfinity Series, and we're on board with one here. This is our leaf filter on board, Justin Haley, 20-year-old out of Indiana.
I'm of the opinion that that is a really good thing, right? There's strength in numbers, but it can almost be a detriment if you allow it. A lot of planning, a lot of strategy is on the table when you have that opportunity, but if it's gone wrong, it can really, really split you up and cause havoc. Coming on a pit road, as we've seen, everybody's got to be on the same page when you start to make those moves in a plan.
Yeah, there are only, from what I can count, 11 cars in the field that are not a Chevrolet. You think there's a fight to be the #1 in the manufacturer cap this year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series? Well, boy, I'll tell you, the Chevy camp, there's a big fight for #1.
And I think we can speak from our experience. Hey, I want to be the first. I want to be Schneider, Adam. I don't want to be the 4th Chevrolet. I got to get up there. So eventually something's going to happen. You can follow suit right here and follow and do the things it needs to do to get to the end of the stages and take care of business. But eventually you got to figure out how to get in front of all those Chevrolets if you expect to beat them.
What's it like when your kid is racing at this place? That was Kim Burton, whose son Harrison is in that outside lane. First Xfinity start here at this place.
Man, could you imagine her heart going through Jeff's career? You know, he was my teammate. I'm close to them. Love that family. Kim, she runs every lap with them. Whether it was Jeff or her son Harrison being in that car, she runs every single lap with them.
But what an opportunity getting into that 20, and we know the success it has had, especially in recent years with guys like Christopher Bell and Eric Jones.
And Harrison's moving right now. He's got the outside lane going with Austin Syndrich behind him. The lead pack's going to pull up in front of him, pull a little block here with the 8, his relative there, Jeb Burton.
Michael Annette now slides up.
Inside, around the top. That guy just pulling off of you. Nice and steady.
Starting to see the outside form here, Clint.
You know, a lot of these guys have veteran. If they're a rookie, they still, a lot of them have the benefit of having a veteran spotter. You heard that communication in his ear. So calm, so collect. It's intense in that car. It's easy to get overwhelmed. Seeing that run coming, oh man, how do I get up? Having that guy calm in your ear helps so much.
What's up with that 8 car, Matt?
Well, veteran Tab Boyd, remember back in 2015, he was Joey Logano's spotter when he won the Great American Race, just giving feedback to Jeb about information to use for later in the race, about how the runs are developing, which line looks best at a certain point as far as laps on tires. It's all about building a notebook.
Mentioned Tab Boyd. He's working with William Byron on the Cup side now, who won his dual race here on Thursday night. And we talk about manufacturer alliances in the draft, maybe working with your teammate. How about your cousin? We're mentioning the Burtons. Of course, Jeb is the son of Ward, as we talked about. Harrison, the son of Jeff, as we said. Those two working together in the draft. That's pretty cool.
As cool as it gets. What a story, right? I mean, we've all watched Ward and Jeff and the careers that they built racing at this very racetrack. To see those cousins putting on a show is really neat to see.
Leader in that bottom lane for the last few laps has been Justin Haley. What are they saying there?
Kind of working with me.
Yeah, it's like telling my dog to quit barking at 3 a.m. Ain't going to happen.
And Haley now is pulled up to the backside of Chase Briscoe, who leads that bottom lane in the 98. Myatt Schneider has led all 8 laps here at Daytona. No cautions yet, but we almost had one courtesy of Cesar Baccarella.
If you're, let's say, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, you're up front trying to win, they worry about wins. We worry about bringing our car back next week so we still have a job. If you make mistakes, you might get replaced. And I think the pressure is equal. It's just pressure for different outcomes.
Tracking B.J. Mcleod. He's driving in the race. He owns 3 cars in the event, and there's his teammate, Jesse Little, who had never raced at Daytona prior to this weekend, and that was quite a save. First ever start in the Xfinity Series driving for JD Motorsports.
Saved their day. And I like that perspective from, BJ, and I agree with it. But I tell you what, we better bring our cars back in one piece, because eventually it'll catch up to you. You can win races, but if you tear cars up on a consistent basis, you're going to be in trouble as well.
On board once again with Justin Haley, and he's had quite an adventure, especially when we were away at break a moment ago.
Woo! Jones pushes up a little bit off of turn 4. Just barely gets him on the left rear. Nice save by both of these guys.
Just tight quarters. When he got spit to the middle like that, what do? Do you go all the way to the back? You try to hold on there and wait till a hole and get in, whether it's high, whether it's low. He opted for that. It's definitely, we were watching in the break, Brad and I both were like, man, it's tight right there. But he got in his hole, got back in his groove, get his composure back. All right, baby, let's go.
Looks like we might have our first pass for the lead. Harrison Burton wants it.
Almost halfway through the opening stage, Myatt Schneider has led the first 13 laps, make it 14 circuits now. No, Harrison Burton scored the leader there by 0.02 of a second as they crossed the start-finish line.
very strong car in that 20. I mean, how many times, Brad, we looked over and when we were racing the Xfinity series, and there comes a 20 car.
Oh,
you
yes.
know when you get in this series, that's going to be one of the cars to beat.
Regan, do you feel the tension in the 20 pit right now?
I got to tell you what, I'm standing down here next to the pit. It's giving me anxiety just watching them, much less being around them. Harrison Burton, I got to talk about him real quick. His plan today was to be aggressive. I was surprised to hear that out of a rookie, but he wanted to be aggressive, and he really wanted to learn how to lead the pack. He wanted to be up front and figure out how to make sure he didn't throw any of those bad blocks that we've been hearing about all week. Matt?
And Tab Boyd telling Jeff Burton, Harrison's cousin, to drag the brake when there's too much of a gap because you don't want to give them an opportunity to make a run on you. And meanwhile, speaking of Jeff's aunt, when Harrison drove in ARCA, Billy Venturini told me they had to beef up the pit box. They're worried with all her jumping around it might collapse.
Brad, what do you do in your car? What's your perspective on that as far as dragging brake? We heard that right there. Spotter telling his driver to drag the brake. When is it right, in your opinion, to drag brake versus let off of the gas?
Well, this is a perfect scenario. I mean, if you look right now at Mike Snyder, he's a good 2 or 3 car lengths in front of the car behind him that's now closing. But again, if it's a rubber band, the further you stretch it, the harder it's going to snap back at you. So you just want to keep it from snapping back at you. If you're going to be able to block a run or to stop somebody from passing you, you want to make sure they don't have the energy to do it. So, there's a lot of tactics you can use. You'll see drivers that'll climb the racetrack. Dale Jr. was infamous for that. Did it really as well or better than anyone else. And then some people drag brakes. I don't know if it really matters either way, but certainly part of the strategy of being the leader at restrictor plate track like here at Daytona.
Adam, in our cars, I mean, you get such a run, you have to lift out of the gas. You can't drag enough brake. But it's such a tricky thing trying to figure out, all right, what's going to take the most, momentum away from me? You can't let out too much because you can't get that rubber band, as Brad is talking about, back going.
Down now to 12 laps remaining here in this first stage. May get 13 to go. And I look at that group that is drifted back now, that second pack, although they are putting some good lap times down because they're single file. And among them, and we touched on this story before we went green today, Ross Chastain, many believe a guy that could win the championship in 2020, didn't make the field in qualifying with his own car, the 10 for Colleague. And so he went over, took over for Jeff Green driving the 38. The team did an amazing job of setting him up for this race, and we'll see what he's able to do. He had to start behind the 8 ball, no doubt.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. These guys dug themselves a pretty big hole. Maybe they can dig a way out of it. But, man, I'm telling you, the race to the front, I'm seeing a lot of blocking. I'm seeing side drafting already. These guys are getting their feel for it. You got to remember, man, this is a practice session, too. The first part of this thing, they have to figure out what it's going to take when it comes down, to money on the line at the end of this race.
I was curious about that. A lot of inexperience. How much learning is going on in this opening stage? Your top 5, Schneider, Jeb Burton, Noah Gregson, Michael Annett, and Harrison Burton. We're back in a moment. Under caution for the first time today. We'll follow that story in a moment. First down to Regan Smith. Pit stop's underway.
Well, on the left side of the car, we see Justin Allgaier getting 4 tires right now. He thinks it's been too early for all the battling that's been going on in the racetrack. Now we see the 20 car of Harrison Burton. Things are going to plan for him. They wanted to learn early on in this race. That's what he's been doing.
7, 8, maybe 9 cars come down pit road here under caution. And here's the reason the yellow flag is out. Watch Jeremy Clements, top line. You were good with that telestrator.
There
you know
go,
that, Brad?
Man, it just disintegrated. I don't know. What happened, Brad? Air got underneath the front side of that hood and just peeled it right off.
A lot of times what happens here at Daytona and Talladega is you see cars push each other and they break the bumper and the hood bars out. So I think you might be able to see that right here. Right? See how the splitter is flapping right through there?
Bad.
And so I think what might have happened is it got the air underneath it and blew the hood up. And when it did, it also knocked out the hood flap, or the roof flap, I should say.
If you watch the hood come off here, it knocks the roof flap off of it too. As soon as it goes up, boom, boom, there goes the roof flap.
So my guess is from pushing back and forth, it probably fatigued it, broke it, and here's what happened. So,
what did you say about learning in this first stage? Because I'm thinking the drivers are doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And Brad's doing it With the telestrator.
With the telestrator, yeah.
I mean, we're all in this together.
I couldn't quite get the circle as big as I wanted it to go, but you guys saw what we were looking at. Huge explosion here. Fiberglass going everywhere. Definitely a good reason for a caution.
These pictures are amazing, huh?
Yeah, great footage. Good job, guys.
Yes.
We'll recap pit stops, talk strategy. It's when we come back. Myatt Snider's led 19 of 20 laps from the pole. After a huge debut weekend, the sports world is buzzing about the XFL, and this week should be no different. Tampa Bay taking on Seattle today at 5 Eastern. It's on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And I know you're Chiefs guy, Tyreek Hill, he's fast and everything, but he's not as fast as a race car can cover 100 yards. They can do it quick. And here is Justin Allgaier, who got trapped on that cycle of pit stops. That's going to cost him some track position.
So easy. Really nice of him not to run that tire changer over.
Yeah, and he really was. He was pretty lenient. Coming back out. Jeremy Clements back out.
Wow.
Well, I know you can't go without a roof hatch. Can you? They obviously put it back on. Can you go without a hood?
Yeah, you can definitely go without a hood. But
you know what his sponsor is? RepairableVehicles.com.
Oh, and they repaired it. Look right here. It has.
Nobody breaks down with RepairableVehicles.com car. That doesn't happen. They're going to race. Here they come.
If you see right here, guys, he has a roof hatch. Is that better? That's my best circle.
I'll give you a little bit better, Brad.
Okay, we're working on it.
You're improving. Those cars that came down pit road here, we think they can make it to the end of stage 2 on fuel mileage. We'll follow that as we go green with 7 to go stage 1. Let's crank it up.
Still inside. 22 is getting a shove from his guy. He'll be coming to you shortly. Still half back. Staying half back, quarter back. Keeping that 22 with. Still half back. Still inside. Clear, clear, clear down. Clear, clear. Run this bottom. Cars to the top, just roll it up there. Still 3 wide. Still 3 wide. Still 3 wide. Still 3. You have the 20 with you. Still 3 wide. 2 wide tight. 20 still with you. Half back 20. You're clear all the way. Help is not. You're clear. Be smart. 7's right with you. Up in front of the 22.
I love listening to these spotters work. This is the Ford onboard camera. Chase Briscoe hearing from 10 feet away.
You know, it's great. 2 things, 2 takeaways. I came in last night. We went to dinner, came back. That truck race is going on. There is no better sound in the world than a pack of cars rolling around Daytona collectively together. That's the coolest sound ever. But then them spotters. Again, you need that guy. Cool, calm, and collect. One thing that I did take away from that, did you hear how many times he cleared him down? Sometimes a spotter will tell you something where he feels like you need to go, and you may or may not agree with him. And it was one of those scenarios. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to stay right here. Still clear down. And Brad will tell me all the time, still clear down, clear down.
Myatt Snider now second behind Jeb Burton.
Moves when he needs to, we're fine. Just a little hesitation there's got me a little nervous.
Yeah, I seen him pull down in front of the 98, I think it was. He just about got him over there. But try to talk him into being, when you speak, move.
Oh, pop on the radio. Richard Childress talking things over with the team and Myatt Snider. Let's get a report on the 98 of Chase Briscoe. Looking good early, Matt.
Chasing runs, Chase Briscoe. Observation by many on the spotter stand that the 98 of Briscoe was probably the best car up on top, able to pull along at a good pace. Stevie Reeves told Brandon Jones, keep in mind for later in the race, the 98 probably will utilize that high side, so let's just get ourselves in position mentally.
Another Ford looks good in the outside lane. That's Austin Syndrich, and right behind him, Justin Allgaier. Allgaier restarted 21st after coming down pit road a moment ago under caution.
And that was all the way up to 5th.
Great rebound there for Justin. A lot of you jockeying for position, trying to figure out what line. I am of the opinion that outside line is where to be today.
Allgaier really looks strong, Regan.
Looks very fast in the draft right now, Adam. And you guys showed when he had the issue on pit road, getting off pit road, he also had an issue getting into his pit stall. The rear brakes locked up on that race car. They have an adjuster in that 7 car for pit road. He said he's not going to use that the rest of the day. Brad and Clint, do you guys use that in the Cup cars on Sunday?
Sometimes, you know what? The brakes that you use around the racetrack are sometimes different than what you'll use on pit road. And so what happens is, you know, Clint, you'll have a lockup of the front or rear that you wouldn't have on the racetrack, but you do have on pit road.
You know, Brad, the other thing that you can do is you got to make sure you put some temperature in those brakes. The brakes want to work at the optimum temperature, right? One of the things that you don't do out here riding around is use the brakes at all. So you're coming in, you forget to put some temperature in them, and it'll lock a wheel up really easy. So that can be done as well.
Winding down the stage here, pit road is closed.
Going to be 1 lap to go this time by. And a reminder, stage points on the line for the top 10 finishers and a playoff point for whoever wins this thing. And keep in mind, Jeb Burton not running full time, so some real incentive for some of the guys behind him like Michael Annette, Austin Syndrich, maybe Noah Gregson who's up there, Justin Allgaier. They'd love to win this stage, grab them a playoff point.
What do you think, Clint? Is Michael Annette going to leave him hanging on the last lap, try to get that playoff point?
Absolutely. I think if he doesn't, the 22 will, Allgaier will. You can see the 22 already hinting that he wants to go down. This is going to happen in 3 and 4.
Justin Haley up there as well. He was a player late stage 1 a season ago. Syndrich out of line. Annette sliding with him, and there to make the block is Jeb Burton in the 8.
Allgaier with a really smart move. Took advantage of it.
And again, it was a block. It was definitely a block that set that up. Untimely block there. The guy slowed him down. Allgaier made a great move to the outside and capitalized.
Junior Motorsports has won 6 of the last 12 here. They were 1st to 4th in the opening stage. Back at Daytona, aerial coverage provided by Goodyear for those that push the limits of possibilities. Goodyear, more driven. Opening stage is complete. The victory goes to Jeb Burton. He and others now on pit road. Matt Yoakum.
And the 98 of Chase Briscoe on his way to his crew chief. Looking for an adjustment on the left side. Richard Boswell trying to tighten up that race car. You can see the adjustment on the right side. Also the 8 of Jeb Burton, 4 tires on. He said his car a little free early on, Regan, but as it burned off fuel, he was good.
1 car, Michael Annette brought more of a speed car this week than his teammates. That looks good so far. He's been up front. And the 22 car of Austin Syndrich, he wanted to gain spots on pit road. That was their plan all day long. He was already up front, though.
You see the race off pit road. A number of cars stayed out because they had pitted back at lap 20 when we got our first caution of the day. That was for incident. Jeremy Clements. Here it comes for a stage end. And Justin Allgaier, one of those that pitted a while ago, he stays out. He will be the new race leader when we return to the green flag. Let's hear from the guy that won that stage, Jeb Burton.
Let's dial him up, boys. Hey, Jeb Burton, boy, up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Man, congratulations. You got them LS Tractor boys happy. First stage win of the season, taking advantage of this opportunity. Couldn't be prouder of you. How are you going to get it back to the front?
Thank you, Clint. Yeah, it's definitely a dream come true to be driving for Junior Motorsports, and been through a lot in my career, and you know, been staying persistent and working hard. And really appreciate LS Tractors and State Water Heaters and Alsco for everything they're doing. The Junior Motorsports boys have brought a fast car, and we're just going to be patient here, Clint. You know, a lot of these guys are probably going to get a little wild, so we got to finish and survive, be there at the end.
Jeb, Brad Keselowski up in the booth. I'm a little curious about the handling as that stage went on. Was your car starting to get a little loose, or how was it holding in?
Yeah, Brad, you know, when I was in traffic, I was getting a little darty off the corners. But once I got out front, that seemed to settle down a little bit. I think some of it might be the wind, to be honest. But other than that, the car's running really good.
10-4. Well, good luck in the rest of the race. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks to Jeb. Thanks to State Water Heaters for giving us that onboard camera. Some adversity from the guys at Junior Motorsports. We'll reset that when we come back. And the helmet is off.
He's
Let's
back,
celebrate.
I told you it'd work. Look at us.
Now time for our Wendy's pit stop. Jamie Little and Michael Waltrip are having a blast here in Daytona with the all-new Wendy's breakfast. From a garage breakfast delivery to some NASCAR fan trivia fun, Jamie and Michael will keep rolling out Wendy's breakfast to fans all weekend long. I came into the infield the other day, first time this weekend, first time this year, and I'm like, there's a Wendy's in the infield.
Awesome, isn't it? We watched them set them up. Look at these guys. I tell you what, there's not a bad seat in this house.
You think they got some Wendy's up there?
I guarantee it.
Maybe.
But back to that infield. They set that thing up. We were all watching. What do they got going on here? Michael was over there. I'm like, all right, now they're on to something. Very, very cool what they did.
Noah Gregson was speeding when he came in a moment ago, so they came back down pit road, and he'll have to start at the rear. Let's get a report on Mcleod Schneider. Here's their radio.
I'll try here. I'm just nervous because I'm making the calls and we're just super delayed on it. So I don't want to get ourselves hooked and get wrecked and end our day early.
He was getting caught up on it, and then he just hesitated. His request, because they're going to start getting dicey towards the end of the race, and we need to start working on that right now.
So what you're hearing here is the spotter talking to the team about their communication, and maybe there's a little communication delay between the spotter and the movements that he's noticing out of his driver. And what he's worried about is that delay might cause an accident. So we're still early enough into the race where they can maybe get that dialed in. So they're going to try to be better at it.
Brad, what I don't like, what I heard right there, is exactly what you said. The crew chief telling the spotter that to tell the driver. The driver's the one that needs to know that. We're all in this together. Those guys need to be on the radio. Get that communication down pat, because they're right. That is what's going to be worse at the end of the race when the money's on the line.
On board with Ross Chastain. He's in the 38 because the qualifying run he made earlier today in the 10 didn't get him in the field. That's our Nutrien Ag Solutions onboard camera. He restarts third behind the Justins. Allgaier and Haley on the front row as we get it going in stage 2.
Allgaier taking advantage of that pit strategy to pit before the end of the first stage, puts him in the lead to start stage 2.
A lot of movement back there trying to figure out how we get back to the front. Some guys are falling back. Some guys are wanting to get up there and get in position. Chase Briscoe looking to the outside. A lot of guys moving right here.
Heard that radio prior to the restart from the 21 team of Mcleod Schneider. We're going to find out what he's got right here. Out front most of that first stage. Now he's back in the middle of the beehive. He's 12th right now.
Good opportunity to learn if you can survive and not get wrecked. Third lane starting to materialize here, about 10 back. That's what you're looking for when you're a driver and a spotter and you're up front. You want to know how many lanes are there? Are there 2 lanes right now? Are there 3 lanes? Where they're coming? Who's got the run? So when I'm watching this race, Clint, I'm looking at that third lane. I want to know how fast is it coming? Who's running it? Do they have enough speed in their car to be able to get all the way up to the front?
Don't look now, but the 66 of Timmy Hill is in the top 5. Second car in the outside lane. That team was penalized prior to qualifying. An L2 penalty, crew chief suspended and fined, but they were able to qualify and compete. He makes the show just like he did for tomorrow's Daytona 500, and now he finds himself in the mix.
Turn 1.
And there it is, the guy that won it last year. That's Michael Annett.
Oh, they almost all got through.
Austin Hill, Joe Graff Jr. also get a piece of it.
I don't think Michael, he got hit right in the door. He might.
Joe Graff is definitely
another
in trouble.
day. These guys are in big trouble.
You see the water trail and oil trail behind the car. That means the radiator's knocked out. Same for Austin Hill.
Hate it for these guys. Hill won the truck race here.
See Mcleod out on the outside with somebody looking. It looks like Chase Briscoe looking on the outside of him. Puts a block, just got loose, getting into the corner. We've all been there before.
Nice miss by Riley Herbst.
Herbst had a couple of good moves to stay out of trouble early in that truck race last night.
I think he hit him right behind the left front. That car will probably be okay. These two, not so much.
Hate it for Joe Graff Jr., who was making his first start in that 08 car and qualified up front.
The 61 hung a left and drove right into our door. Are you kidding me? No, 61 hung a left and drove right into the door.
Yeah, it's a strange place here to spin, Clint, right at the top of turn 1. Doesn't look like he got any help to me.
I just had that car close to him. Took the air off of him, gets loose into the corner. I've been there before for sure.
Free pass, Cesar Baccarella, who by my math will now be back on the lead lap. Hey, what are you doing Saturday, February 15th? You want to get on a boat at Daytona with me?
Man, I'm in. Let's do it. Lake Lloyd, the infield at Daytona? Absolutely.
Fast cars.
I don't know about the pants and coats and things like that. I mean, that's a boat party, man. You can't show up. Where's the shorts? Yeah. Now this is the party I'm looking for.
These are your people.
Look at them. All right.
Sold out tomorrow for the Daytona 500.
So awesome. Man, the Daytona 500 is the event. Such action-packed. I mean, how many years have you been coming down here, Brad?
15 at least, and over 100,000 people here in Daytona. That's a lot of people.
Not 1 year goes by you don't roll through that tunnel. The hair stands up in your back, and it's game on, man. It's so exciting to be here.
Third caution of the day, second for incident. It all started with Michael Annett. He appeared to save it, but not the case for Joe Graff Jr. and Austin Hill. They're done for the day. So much history at Daytona. I love the father-son combos that have competed. Many of them have won right here at this place.
Family sport. Jeff Burton, whole teammate of mine, that family, love the family, love everything they've done around Harrison and his career. Here he is at the big stage at Daytona.
Jeff, Ward, both have wins here. So does Chad Little in the Xfinity Series. 25 years ago, for Jeff Burton, his victory came at the Cup level in July of 2000. What a great night it was.
Well, here's Ward, Daytona 500.
Oh, yeah, this is Ward, 2002. When I saw the video, I was like, this is daytime. That's the 500. So when Ward won, Jeb was 9 years old.
Isn't that amazing? He just won the Daytona 500. Now he is watching his kid compete at Daytona. Kim Burton here, you see her. I'm telling you, I love that about our sport, is the fact that it's a family sport, and you see it on full display today.
Now Jeff winning in 2000. And this does look familiar.
Here's the mayor.
I miss that Excite car when he was driving for Jack
so
Roush.
Cool. I tell you what I miss is the character that old track had before they repaved this place. Man, it was fun to race. But watching him win and the grace that he did it he's just a great guy. He's polished all the way around. He has always been that go-to guy for me. Any question I've ever had in my career, he has a great answer for it.
And his son Harrison is leading this race right now. Let's go to the 8 radio, Jeb Burton.
Those guys that stayed out, do they have to pit or they can make it?
You and me, let's just don't worry about everybody else. Just think about driving your car, man. I'll worry about that stuff, all right?
Well, I want to know. I'm the race car driver. Tell me what's going on. I'm with you, Jeb.
I don't need to know. Just tell me when to pit. I'm going to try to win this thing.
That's the difference in race car drivers. I want to know. Clint doesn't want to know.
It's dangerous. The more I know, the more dangerous I am, Adam.
Taylor Moyer, though, the crew chief, really has done an unbelievable job with that 8 program. Came over last year to Junior Motorsports, had all these different drivers, some of them with zero experience. He delivered a lot with Jeb behind the wheel. This year working with Jeb and Daniel Hemrick, who I believe will get his first win this year in one of NASCAR's top 3 series. Hard to believe he has it.
I agree. He is the perfect driver. Daniel Hemrick is a great guy. Again, family. Think about family. Think about where he grew up. Kannapolis boy. Think about the opportunity racing for Dale Jr. In the Earnhardt name. What a great opportunity for him. I'm looking forward to his year.
So to answer the question from Jeb Burton, yes, they can make it. These yellows should have put them in their window.
It would have been close anyway.
It would have been close.
But this should create the insurance, right?
Yes.
Restart. We're going to come here with 17 to go. Watch the speeds pop in as they get these motors rolling. Outside lane for the race leader. That's the 20 of Harrison Burton.
You can see those speeds watching right there. Obviously, the outside line is more put together. They're going to be faster, and you see them obviously faster right there. And look at the push he just got.
Don't get too far out. Watch the top. Coming back to you here. Don't get too far out. Here comes your energy. Coming back to you here. Half back, 2 wide behind us here. 3 wide back there. Got the 38 within. Watch the 11 is going to get a run. Watch the bottom. Watch the...
I think I saw a car getting a wall back there a little bit. Saw smoke come off his right side.
Spotters are doing a great job helping these young drivers try to understand what's happening, because in the car you can't see all this, and experience, it really matters on these plate races. So spotters really can fill the gap, and what you're hearing is a lot of the Cup spotters for tomorrow's Daytona 500 spotting today, sharpening their skills as well.
Well, when you say you can't see, the only thing you can see, Adam, is that car behind you. You really can't see what's forming behind him, and that's what a spotter can tell you, what lane to be in. I can see this guy bearing down on me right behind me, but does he have somebody? Because if he doesn't have help, you're going to be doomed altogether.
See Austin Syndrich here get a little loose with the push from Jeb Burton. Recovers, gets right back above the yellow line in car. So we're on board with him now as he's pushing into turn 3 on the bottom lane.
You hear him lifting right there, Jeff Burton lifting. That's one of the things they have to do in the Xfinity Series that Brad and I don't have to do in the Cup Series. That would be very, very hard for me to not lock bumpers and take advantage of that opportunity.
And we've seen drivers penalized for doing just that right here at Daytona. You know, Harrison Burton leading this thing. His teammates have been quiet today, Matt.
20-year-old Riley Herbst talking more like a veteran as he breaks down his race car. He said it just feels like it won't come off the corner. I can't suck up to anybody at any time. About 7,500 on the RPMs to what it feels like someone is just side drafting me all the time, Regan. So great breakdown by this young man.
Always good to hear young drivers learning fast out there, Matt. Hey, the 9 car of Noah Gregson, he just came to pit road on that last pit stop. They are playing the long game. We talked earlier about possibly what you could do with fuel mileage later on as this race goes on. They want their last pit stop or their next pit stop to be as short as possible. He was the only car that topped off right there before we went green. Keep an eye out for that later on.
He's being scored in the 16th position. And his crew chief, Dave Ellens, understands success at Daytona. He's won here 3 times with 3 different drivers. Here's the Ford on board. It's Chase Briscoe. And I mentioned Harrison Burton was leading. He's actually drifted back now. And he's being scored in the 12th position, so not going where he wants to on this restart.
No, and you heard that in car right there. You can hear the car talking to you, and it does talk to you. You get a side draft or somebody's side drafting on you, it really bogs you down. You hear it in that car. It'll whoa, and then you get that big shove at the end of the race, and man, it really picks up, gets on the pipe, and sings a good tune. The car will talk to you.
That was some Days of Thunder right there.
Absolutely, man. I believe it. You hear him get in the corner of the car, takes a load.
To the 21. 1898 behind 898.
Really don't hear it as much when they're single file like this, but man, oh man, when you get side by side at the end of the race and you're 3 wide, for me, that's really how you can tell what lane to be in, right? The momentum is it's an obvious, you can see that, but you hear it. You hear it so much in the engine.
Listen to some of these names, top 5, top 10 right now. Ryan Sieg is 4th. Brandon Brown is 5th. We mentioned Riley Herbst, a driver that's a rookie, racing in an Xfinity car for the first time at Daytona. Myatt Schneider, career debut. And don't look now, but Michael Annett, who had that spin, bringing out the last caution, already recovered in the top 20. He's 18th.
It's a nice recovery. You can see he had a lot of damage right behind the left front tire, and it looks like the splitter might be bent up where he spun off the apron, Clint. So far, it's not hurting him. He's back in the top 20.
This kind of weird to see these guys run around the bottom of the racetrack. We've been so accustomed to being at the top in the Clash in the 150s. All of our qualifying races, we've been around the top is where the fastest line's been. So to see these guys pulling them on the bottom is kind of unique.
Regan?
Well, you guys just talked about in the booth that splitter being hit up on the Michael Annett car just a little bit. His teammates noticed that also. He's been leading that JRM brigade for most of this race, but as soon as they saw that damage, they asked how his car would be. It was relayed to them that the splitter was up. He would make a good pusher. Now they don't need to follow anymore. They need him to push them to the lead.
Good job by Travis Mack and that team to get him in a position to compete. 11 laps to go. In our second stage, Allgaier, Syndrich, Jeb Burton, Ryan Sieg, Brandon Brown. They're your top 5. Closing on the end of our second stage for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Here at Daytona International Speedway, let's take a look at today's Ford performance. Track facts. You see the 22 of Austin Syndrich. And that gives us an opportunity to remind everyone of the most befuddling stat. As I did my preparation, the captain has never won here in this series.
Well, they've got 4 second-place finishes, and I don't know how many of those are mine, but I feel like a lot of them are.
I'm of the opinion if the captain is, if he wants to win one, he's going to stay at it until he wins. He will win this race, and he might just do it with that 22 car today. That car's fast.
He's got a lot of talent. There's no doubt about it. He's right behind Allgaier now with 7 to go.
22 knows if you want to drag it to the top, you can.
Yeah, I'm debating it. I just don't know that it's going to be any better.
All right, your call.
All right, we're going to go to the top going into 1 here. See which way's faster. And 4, I think the bottom's just faster. I think it opens up, allows the guy to kind of get runs on the bottom. So we'll just stay down here. Hopefully it doesn't bite us.
It's always confused me, Adam. The bottom is faster, but for whatever reason, and I blame Dale Jr. for this. He was the first one that I can remember, drug us to the top, and it strung out single file. So I guarantee he's down there, man, get him up to the top. What are you doing on the bottom? Get up there, boy. I can hear him telling him that. So when they go to the top, I don't know. Why do we go to the top?
Well, it's easier to defend when you're on the top. You can shut a runoff a lot easier in the high lane than you can on the low lane. Because you can just close down and block it really easily. So
you can see it coming better.
You can see it coming better. There's a whole list of reasons, but in general, the bottom lane is usually faster, especially on new tires.
Yeah, for me though, you can carry the momentum better. It seems like as this pavement keeps wearing out more and more year after year at Daytona, you know, this is a tighter arc than we have at Talladega. It seems like the bigger the arc, the better you are. You're not pulling on the wheel. You can keep your momentum up, especially in our cars. You keep the throttle down more up top than you can on the bottom.
A lot to manage here with 5 to go in the stage for Justin Allgaier. He's led 16 laps today of our 55 complete. He's never won here. In fact, the laps he's led today, the most he's ever led in a race at Daytona, making his 19th appearance this afternoon.
You know, guys, I'm still impressed with this Jeb Burton. Look at him. He won the first stage. He's running 3rd already, back in position. That old hot rod's fast. This kid just could be his day. We might see another Burton in victory lane.
Well, you're impressed with Burton. I'll be honest, I'm impressed with Brandon Brown, running 6th. This is a guy you don't normally hear of, and he's ran up front most of this race very quietly, which is what I'd want out of a car like that. That's maybe not the highest funded, maybe not the most experienced driver. He's putting on a heck of a run.
He's from Virginia, went to college at Coastal Carolina, but has been a racer forever. Last year, number 86. This year, number 68, because that's the number he ran growing up with his dad. It's a family team. Boy, how cool would it be to see them pull into victory lane here today. Going to be 3 to go in the stage as they head back toward the start-finish line.
This is where you start getting antsy. You got to get the stage points. You may or may not have got them in the last one. You're going to try to get them this time. Get yourself in position. You're going to see some jockeying right here.
Stage points and a playoff point. Allgaier, one of those drivers we talked about that could be a championship front runner, and right behind him, Syndrich in that same category.
On board with Chase Briscoe on the left camera here, getting a little push from Justin Haley.
He's come a long ways right there. That car is extremely fast. There's 2 Fords lined up against Allgaier. you know when this 22 moves out, the 98's probably going to go with you.
Two to go. Second stage. Pit road is closed. We said the big three this year likely will be Allgaier, Syndrich, and Briscoe. They're the top three coming off the corner.
So I've got to believe 2 Fords lined up behind that 7 car, which is a Chevy, Justin Allgaier. Got to believe, Clint, they're going to make a move here, try to win this stage.
Waiting, they're being patient, doing everything they're supposed to do. Wait till this last lap. What do you think, Brad? Off of 2? Do you wait till you try to get into 3, make the move?
I think if I've got a teammate behind me, I'm ready to go right now. Why wait?
Well, the problem is if you move too early, everybody else stacks up on the bottom, and then they come 2, 3 wide at you. You can see this bottom line coming. This is where I know Brad. This is where Brad's going to see that bottom lane coming, and he's going to be moving down.
Here we go. Briscoe does it.
Here they come.
Syndrich sliding down in front of him. Allgaier goes down to block, and here we go. Half a lap remaining.
Big run from the 11.
Second stage.
Big runs.
Haley's shooting to the outside in that 11 car. Syndrich tucks in behind him. Allgaier still out front.
Big rack in 3.
Yep.
We got a crash. We stay green. That's the 18 of Riley Herbst, and now the caution is out, and that is how we will end stage 2. Justin Allgaier in front of Justin Haley, and then it's Jeb Burton. The 25 also involved in that crash. That's Chris Cochran.
I saw the 18 get sideways. We're going to have to go to the replay to see what happened there, but just a lot of movement. A lot of movement going for that stage. That bottom line was forming big time too. They were catching them.
Watch the 18 right in the middle there.
Looks like he might have
moved down. Wasn't quite clear.
Can't tell who that was that he got into.
Hard hit right there.
And Myatt Schneider looks like he might have got collected. Harrison Burton just barely sneaks through there on the bottom.
Nice save by Myatt Schneider, who hangs on to it.
Just wasn't quite
the
clear.
92, Josh Williams, I think was just barely inside of Riley, and he didn't see him there. Big hit, Chris Cochran, right in the door of the 18.
Look at Harrison Burton. That's got to be a lot to manage, straddling the banking there.
I can imagine the heart rate of his mother in that situation.
We saw the emotion. Stage 2 is done at Daytona. Junior Motorsports sweeping the day. Great afternoon here at Daytona. Caution number 4 comes out as we wrap up our second stage. Justin Allgaier gets the win in stage 2 after Jeb Burton did it in stage 1, and everybody pitting, Matt.
And you can see Ross Chastain slides the right front. They told him don't slide him. They were looking at possibly right sides. Let's see if they go lefts. Different car than he's used to. Steering box much slower. He's still down and away. Regan.
Justin Allgaier very happy with this race car all day long and all weekend. It's had speed. He doesn't want any changes, and he was not going to adjust his brakes for this stop getting into the box. Justin Haley, that race car, they wanted him to save a little fuel before the caution came out even. Don't slide the tires. That was the main thing for him.
Race off pit road. +2 for Jeb Burton, +3 for Austin Syndrich, +6 for Noah Gregson. And
Watch
here's
this,
what
guys.
happens.
Big impact. Jammers the right front for sure. Spins that 93 out. He's backwards in the pits.
Yeah, that's C.J. McLaughlin. And here's Justin Allgaier getting blocked in. That's Timmy Hill in front of him.
Yeah, second time getting blocked in. He's done a good job. Let's take this moment to dial up the 7 while we see Harrison Burton on pit road. Justin Allgaier, Brad Keselowski, and Clint Bowyer up in the booth. You got a copy?
Opportunity at the end, you know, that'll give us the freshest tires of anybody if we get down to a gas and go here toward the end.
We'll give him just a minute here. Clear his
say that
radio
again.
conversation.
You guys were talking on top of each other. I didn't hear what you said to start with.
Way to go, Brad. Got into trouble.
Justin Allgaier, Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Tires when we get down to the end, you know, for a gas only stop.
Timing is impeccable here, bud.
First the telestrator, now the radio. What's going on over there?
What'd you like me to do?
The 7 team has a lot to say. That's good. How about now, Justin Allgaier, Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, buddy. Got you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Terrific. Sorry about walking on your crew chief there. Sounds like he was giving some great information, but pit strategy. You pitted early in the first stage there before it was over, drove back up, got a nice finish in stage 1 and win stage 2. Sounds like you've got a really fast race car there. How about it, buddy?
Yeah, man, you know all about the Speedway plate racing. It's all about strategy and having a good race car, and everybody at Junior Motorsports obviously brought a really fast Camaro today. You know, especially at the end of that stage, it got a little bit dicey, but it seems like everybody's kind of gotten calmed down, and everybody drove really smart there at the end of that last stage. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Jason's done a great job on the box today, and pit crew's done a great job. I've done a terrible job in the pit stall, but 10 years with brand professional ag culture on the car this year is really cool. And the old bright red machine looks good. Winning the stage look even better across the checker flag for a win. So that's the next plan.
You bet. Well, we're wishing you the best up here in the booth, and great job so far.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it, buddy.
I still have a hard time believing that's red and not orange. We'll update some of those others that had issues. Under caution, we're ready for the final stage at Daytona. We are ready for the final stage here at Daytona for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Let's go on this date, February 15th. We start things off in 1903, the first time we saw the teddy bear on sale.
1903.
Did you know 47 years later, Cinderella opened in theaters? Now the racing stuff for you two.
Another Cinderella story. Dale Earnhardt wins his first Daytona 500, and just 6 years later, so does his son. First Daytona 500, 2004, 1998.
Really good moments there. Tonight, the Super Middleweight Championship is on Fox. Undefeated, Caleb Sweethand's Plant defends his title against KO King Vincent Feigenboots. All the hard-hitting action begins tonight, 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Man, who do you go for, Sweet Hands or KO King? Who's the favorite?
We're at Daytona. I got to go with the King.
I like Sweet Hands.
I just know, don't get the name wrong, because I feel like if that guy finds you somewhere after you got his name wrong,
they're going to come mean hands.
Good.
So we had that caution that came out, effectively ending our second stage, and we knew that the 18 of Riley Herbst was beat up. We knew the 25 of Chris Cockrum was done. Also in the garage, pole sitter Myatt Schneider. Tough break for him.
It is very, very important right here to stick with our teammate there, right in front of you. You know what we got to do here at the end, so we need every ally we can. Stick with your wingman.
Couple of Fords on the outside lane as we return to the green flag. Austin Syndrich, and you just heard from Chase Briscoe. When you don't have many others in the field that have the same manufacturer and you don't have a teammate, you better hang together, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's the ally. And better yet, that's a fast race car. That 22 car has been one of the cars to beat all day long. So is Chase Briscoe. Those guys need to find each other and work together to get a blue oval in victory lane if that's going to happen.
Saw the 39 of Ryan Sieg on pit road. Understand he has a brake issue, and his quasi-teammate today, Ross Chastain, who moved over to drive that 38 car today, got that damage leaving pit road when he hit C.J. McLaughlin a while ago. He has returned down pit lane. They taped up the right front. We'll follow his progress. He will restart outside the top 20. He's 27th. Time for the final stage at Daytona.
The outside line just did not get a good start at all.
It's Jeb Burton, blue number 8 inside lane, drafting help from his teammate Noah Gregson in that Bass Pro Shops car.
Junior Motorsports over the last 2 years has been just so dominant here at Daytona for Speed Weeks in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and you're off to a great start today. Won the first 2 stages, got the first 2 cars in the field right here in the last stage.
And the money's on the line. Last stage, look what we see. We see the teammates, the allies, everybody grouping up, everybody finding one another. The chess match has begun.
Back in the middle of the pack, being scored 13th, 1 lap into this run, is Ross Chastain. Now shown 12th as they come across the start-finish line. That's a good race car. And thanks to everybody at BSI who got that onboard camera moved over today. Nutrient Ag Solutions, supposed to be in the 10. He didn't qualify. Takes over the 38 for Jeff Green. They rewrapped the car. He had to start in the back. A lot of adversity, but he's overcoming it right now.
High lane starting to roll a little bit here, Clint. Recovering from a little bit of a weak restart all the way up to the second lane or second row.
It's pretty even right there. When you look at both lanes, I look just like we do as a competitor. You're looking to see what car you're asking that, you know, what lane is the good cars in? What lanes do I need to be in? Where's our allies? Where's the most help going to be at? Where's that lane? That's the one you need to be in.
A couple things I'm paying attention to is Austin Syndrich leading that lane. Of course, how's he going to side draft? How's he pulling the lane forward? Another thing I'm noticing, cloud cover has rolled in here to Daytona. We went from being partially cloudy to fully cloudy. That's going to give these cars a lot of handling. We're going to make some more aggressive moves accordingly.
You see Syndrich pulling down and using that side draft, keeping those cars together. That enables him to have his help catch him off of turn 4 and push him all the way down the front straightaway. This will be a good run here. That was something the other night that I was really having trouble with, is trying to figure out, 38 was an issue. Ross Chastain on the pit road, I'd say right front.
Yeah, all that damage.
2, 1, obviously
tires
just push
flat.
that in. We got
Great
to clear
catch.
that right front. Take our time here, do it right.
You can see it's popped in. It probably got on the tire and started rubbing. He's going to blow a tire here. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. But look at the timing. Didn't wreck, didn't get anybody. Right here, sets it up. Their day's not done. He got on a pit road. I don't know if he was speeding right here or he missed the line. That'll be... Oh, did you see that, Brad?
He was really close to making the pit line. The orange box, of course, you have to put all 4 underneath. We'll have to go back and take a look at that. But where they're stopped right now, they're probably not out of the race, but out of contention for the win.
I will say, though, we can get a lot of cautions late here. We've seen it many times. And in recent years, the driver that won this race has had to overcome a lot of problems. It's going to be difficult, but I'd never write that guy off.
That's adversity, more so here than ever. I don't know what it is about this place, but if you look over the years, the teams that have won, you know, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, this Xfinity race, it's the ones like Harrison Burton. They're always beaten, battered up, you know, have a story behind them, battled through so much adversity, and usually end up in victory lane with a great story. That's pretty unique about this place.
It's just about time to make it happen. Inside of 50 laps to go here at Daytona for the Xfinity Series. Jeb Burton leading. Let's crank it up.
Everybody to the top now. Everyone's on the top, man. Single file.
Yeah.
Hung out on these stops here. Check the bottom if they get around. Is that what you're saying? Everybody at the top. Keep doing exactly that. You're all good. Everybody single file. Just 5 up on the bottom. Just keep high. Alright, we'll complete this one, won't fit. Complete this one when it'll fit. You smell any smoke around?
Temperature stuck on 180.
I didn't before either though. Okay, hit more.
He's talking about potentially pitting this lap.
I almost think that's got to be someone that has a problem that we're picking up there, Brad, because they're not in their window. And there's no, if you pit now, you got to pit again, right? I mean, I thought we'd get up. Okay, we understand that was the 38 of Ross Chastain, who was, in fact, getting the black flag displayed. He's already 3 laps down.
Yeah, he's had a rough go of it this weekend. You know, issues in qualifying. Really drove a great race, then had an issue on pit road that I don't think was his fault, Clint.
Nah, it's definitely
bad luck on the
wanting this day to be over.
Earlier, we were tracking B.J. Mcleod, one of these underdog drivers who finds himself in the top 20 right now, Matt.
Well, I think when you look at the gentleman sitting next to you in the booth, Clint Boyer, I know your hero always was Dale Earnhardt Sr., and it's hard not to have Bob Keselowski and his journeyman passion to keep digging, Brad, to have as your hero. But if you're B.J. Mcleod and you grew up in Florida, there's one guy that you migrate to, and you're even more fortunate to have as a driver coach when you're starting out, and that's Gary Hot Shoe Ballou. One of the things that he told B.J. Mcleod, you just have to race smart. Do the best you can with what you have to keep on digging. It's a lot like poker. As long as you have a chip on the table, you're still in the game. 38 years ago Thursday, he scored his best career finish here at Daytona, did Hot Shoe Ballou. And B.J. Mcleod having a great run now, currently in the 18th position.
Great story, Matt. He drives them. He owns them. His wife, Jessica, plays a huge role in his racing career. Just over 40 laps remaining at Daytona. They're lined up single. Starting to get really interesting. 41 laps remaining. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series season opener at Daytona International Speedway. With Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, I'm Adam Alexander. Top 5 for the stretch run. Jeff Burton, Noah Gregson, Justin Haley. They're all in Chevrolets. A couple of Fords right behind him. Austin Syndrich, Chase Briscoe. The first Toyota is Brandon Jones. Then you've got Allgaier, Josh Williams, Brandon Brown, and Michael Annett. And there's the coach in the Hall of Fame and hoping to see one of his drivers win here in the Xfinity Series for the first time
Pit.
since 2013.
Sounds like we're pitting, boys.
Now, we had heard 34,
We
35
are
laps.
pitting, exiting 3. Wave them off, single file.
So important to get that line of communication down. Make sure everybody knows, because this is what an opportunity to wreck right here.
Big test for these young drivers. Cup drivers have enough hard times with this, and that looks like they're going to do it perfectly.
Yep.
Nice job, guys.
We saw big problems here last year in the Daytona 500. That was perfection, Matt.
And crew chiefs up and down pit road, Adam, telling their drivers, do not slide them. Look for a lot of fuel-only stops. The 8's engaged, waiting, he pulls it out, and he's away. Regan.
Well, the 7 car of Justin Allgaier, a much better pit stop this time. He didn't slide the tires, didn't overshoot his pit box, fuel only.
Everyone got onto pit road nicely. You can't speed in this situation. And now step number 3, blending back in and finding your way into the draft.
Such an important part of the race right there. Do not speed. Do not lock your tires up coming onto pit road. Make sure you hit your marks. Get in the box. Get this thing full of fuel. Do not speed. Do not make a mistake. And like you said, get back together as soon as possible. Latch on and get this chain a-rolling.
Timmy Hill coming down pit road. Got in nicely. Unfortunately, he's all by himself, so when he exits, no drafting help. That's difficult unless it just times out perfectly for him.
He will be very lonely.
Yeah, sometimes that can work out for you because everybody gets so cautious coming to pit road that you can have a good entry and exit. So we'll have to see how that plays out for him. But this really spread the field out, this whole sequence right here. And I got to be honest, guys, I'm a little bit shocked everybody pitted so early. The numbers we had said they can only go 35 laps on fuel. So either we didn't get great numbers and those crew chiefs lied to us. That's a shocker.
Nah.
Or these guys are really counting on cautions late in this race to get that fuel number back.
The guys that pitted are being scored from 14th on back. The new leader is Alex Lebay. Ran full-time for Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago. He's from Quebec. Won the Penny Series Championship a few years ago, driving for Mario Goslin. He'd love to shock the world here today, but keep in mind he will have to pit along with a number of other drivers behind him that are yet to get their final stop in. And there are teammates behind him. Second and third, that's Jesse Little in the 4. We mentioned B.J. Mcleod in the 0. Driving for Johnny Davis.
Definitely working together, working the strategy. Who knows what's going to happen? Those guys, that could work out for them. You know, so many things have to go right there. Have to make sure, as you said, Brad, you nailed it. This thing has to make it to the end. We're crunching this thing tight. You got to make sure you get that thing full. Who knows what's going to happen at the end of this?
With 36 laps remaining, let's look at our Xfinity fastest laps of the day. Right now, top of the board, Ryan Sieg over 196 miles an hour. And Noah Gregson is on that list. He's one of those drivers that came down pit road at lap 81, and there you see him. He's leading the train, so he executed the plan perfectly. And when this cycles through, it likely will be that 9 car that's got this thing under control.
To the point.
These 5 cars here, if it cycles through with no yellows, yeah, good luck with that. But if it does do that, those 5 cars have control of this race. They fought very hard for it. But I got to be honest, I mean, this is really going out on a limb to be able to make it on fuel this far and no green-white checkers. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
What's up, Regan?
Well, I think when you look at that 9 car out front right now, Adam, that has been their plan all day long, was to do everything they could to get control of this race. They finally got control of it. Noah's been doing a very good job. His plan as a driver was to be very aggressive today. Crew Chief Dave Allen said he was going to let him do whatever he needed to do to get that car to the front when it came to drafting.
On board with Chase Briscoe. He's 16th right now, but would be 3rd in line of that group that has already made a pit stop, and he's got drafting help behind him. The other Ford in this race, Austin Syndrich.
You know, when we get in that single file line running the outside, we have an opportunity to lift a little bit. You can get back to 50% throttle maybe and save some fuel. That's one thing we don't know, Brad, is how much they saved.
Well, we know the leader can't. Yeah, the leader definitely can't.
That is for sure.
These cars draft quite a bit differently than the Cup cars. From what our team, Team Penske has a car in this series with Austin Syndrich, and from what they've told me, these cars are more side draft than they are front to tail draft, which makes it harder to save fuel with these cars.
This is that pack from second on back, going around Ross Chastain, who is a handful of laps down. 99 of Josh Bilicki. Behind him, the 78 of Vinnie Miller. Saw David Starr in that collection. And there's the race leader right now, Alex Lebay. Huge advantage in front of the field, 6 seconds in front of that group we just saw. The boss man answered you.
I think Dale got a little sensitive on that one. I was wondering, did I nail my impression or not? I mean, I was trying to redneck it up a little bit, but so much fun to have, him. I don't know about you, Brad. I mean, he's meant a great deal to your career, but I think he's done such a great job as he's come over and done broadcasting. A whole different perspective, and it's a lot of fun to be able to come up with him.
Well, we're just trying to lighten it up for you, Dale Jr. We know as a car owner how stressful watching Daytona must be for you, so
he's going to drive. He's going to drive the 8 car when we come back to Florida next month at the Homestead Miami Speedway. How about the 9, Regan?
Well, I just made my way down to the 9 pit box. Look, Crew Chief Dave Allen's right in the eyes. I said, "Are you good?" He said, "Absolutely. We're good for green-white checkered if we need that as well." Matt?
Keep an eye on the 98, Chase Briscoe. He told me a year ago that he hated Speedway racing, but it was a conversation with Dale Earnhardt Jr. that changed his entire perspective and outlook. He went on the aggression. He felt like that type of style has really helped pay off for him. He's also noticed that the 8 of Jeff Burton is probably the best car out there. Spotter Stevie Reeves told him, just stay with the 8 until the end, and we'll get our shot.
I agree with that. I've been telling you since the beginning, Jeff Burton in that 8 car is very fast.
Save fuel, do you want me to? I do not want you to save fuel. I want the 5 of you to drive away from the 3 behind you. Stay as lined up as you can. Discipline.
Here are the front runners. but we're starting to see more green flag pit stops. And as we know, everybody well within their window. 31 laps to go. You heard Regan Smith talking about the 9 of Noah Gregson. Dave Ellen says they are good even if we go to overtime. And in this mix right here, Cesar Baccarella scored 5th. The Florida native spun early in this race, didn't get the benefit of a caution, kept it off the wall, made an unscheduled stop, had tires down. And
he was 2 laps down.
Yeah.
Had him 2 laps down, and now he's running in the top 5.
2 times he got the free pass, and here he is.
I think it's important for the fans that might have just tuned into the race to understand that the top 10 cars are on a different pit strategy than the rest of the field. So the top 10 cars cannot make it to the distance as it stands right now on fuel. So we're going to see this lineup cycle a few more times.
What would be your philosophy? Do you run it as far as you can, hoping that the caution comes out and you can make your pit stop under yellow? Or do you play some kind of game and come earlier before you would be forced to make a stop in regard to your fuel mileage?
Well, I think those are definitely the options. There's no doubt. But the gamble is within those options, and obviously we're seeing both of those. The one thing that I'm seeing, look at the lap time difference. The Wolves are coming, boys. That Lebay, he's running a 48.07 leading this race. You look back to the boys coming 46.35.
About a second and a half, a little over a second and a half, and they're only about 9 seconds back, so they're going to come fast.
It's going to get real serious. Yeah, Noah Gregson 17 seconds off of race leader Alex Lebay, and Ryan Sieg, who is 10th in front of him on track, is 9 seconds back of the top spot.
Copy. I said hypothetically, is the 19 a friend?
That's if the 19's going to be a friend. Up here, he says he's going to be a friend. You never know until you know, but right now, he's a friend.
That will be the lead pack. A couple of Chevrolets, a couple of Fords, and a Toyota. Will they work together? And when will the race leader pit? We know he has to come again. Watch it unfold as we go side by side.
I want to one day be able to win a race as an owner, but it's just going to take a long time to get there, and we're building it right. We've got the business model correct. Everything's being done correctly at the shop, and we've got a lot of good people surrounding us and a lot of good people supporting us. So I feel good about the future of our business.
BJ Mcleod really doing a nice job to grow his team, driving for Johnny Davis. He's got 3 other cars in the race today. From an owner's perspective, he and wife Jessica watching these competitors very closely. Right now he's 10th. He will have to pit again, and tracking him down, the guy in 11th who will not have to return to the pit lane. That's Noah Gregson in that 9 car, back behind him.
I like his plan. Sticking with his guys.
That's Alex Lebay, just out of your shot. He's the leader. 5 seconds behind him, you have J.J. Yaley towing that pack back to 10th. And then it's Noah Gregson in 11th. But again, the top 10 have to pit.
Looks a little bit like Tour de France here. You got multiple different races, different, what do they call it, pelotons? That's what we're seeing right here.
But the storm's brewing. You see it. Yes, right now, can't figure it out. What's going on? If you just tuned in, they're all over the racetrack. You just watch. It's going to be 3 wide and going for broke at the end of this baby.
They caught him fast right there. 45.90 to a 48 flat. Look at him just carve through this pack with that raw speed this group has.
And those drivers yet to make a pit stop, staying down low. The ones that have already been down, led by Noah Gregson, running the wall through turns 3 and 4. And the back end of that, likely cycling out 5th when the pit stops happen, Brandon Jones, Matt.
And his spotter, Stevie Reeves, was telling him, try to stay tucked up. They were going to reel in that group. When they started going side by side, you can see they're just blowing right past him. Jones, keep an eye on that 19. They feel pretty confident. 22 to go.
Before the Daytona 500, download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play Super 6 NASCAR for free with a chance to win up to $10,000 in a progressive jackpot, meaning that if there's no winner this week, they'll add another $10,000 to the prize next week. Get your picks in now. 22 laps remaining. Alex Lebay continues to lead. Noah Gregson has brought that other group up to third. Make it second now.
They're coming fast, Adam. They're catching him really, really fast, the second pack.
So you see Gregson right now, 194, 193 mile an hour, slows down a little bit in the corner. He's going to get down the straightaway and he's going to accelerate. And on the bottom left is Lebay, 183 mile an hour right now. So 6 to 10 mile an hour faster, depending on where you look at the racetrack.
That's a lonely feeling, boys. Mirror is getting big.
In the top 5, after everyone cycles through, becoming the top 4. Syndrich starting to put some distance between himself and Brandon Jones, who was right on his bumper.
Brandon Jones got to be a little concerned right here. He doesn't want to lose this pack, and he's flirting with losing it. He's got a little bit of help from behind, but if he loses this pack in the next lap or two, this race is over for him without a yellow.
Yeah, I've been watching Allgaier and the pack that he has with Haley and Annette. Those 3 cars lost that pack, and it really surprised me. You know, going back to your point, Brad, in our cars, those 3 cars would have caught that line. They would have caught them and caught up, and it would have been a lot longer line. They have fallen off the pack. Jones, that line is backed up. Look at those 3 cars breaking up. This is really breaking up big time right now.
Yeah, but Lebay, catching Lebay really helped him. It caused him to fan out, go too wide, cuts a bigger hole in the air, and that's going to bring Brandon Jones, along with Sieg right behind him, back into the fold as it looks like Lebay's pitting.
Several cars pitting right here.
You mentioned Sieg. He will have to pit, even though he's hanging out with what is now the lead group. Alex Lebay coming down with 19 laps to go, and he's bringing a bunch of other guys with him. These are scheduled green flag pit stops happening now, and all of that action puts this group out front.
They held on as long as they could. Oh, we got a little incident here. BJ Mcleod gets in there.
Looked like David Starr might have gone to the wrong pit stall.
By 6 boxes.
There's a lot of JD Motorsports boxes down there. He stopped in the wrong JD Motorsports box.
Again, this is scheduled service for all these drivers. Just a different philosophy on strategy.
But we saw it right there. Pitting is so important under these conditions. You cannot make any mistakes. That was a huge mistake on both of those cars. Really separated that line.
Junior Motorsports has won 6 of the last 12 races here, 4 of the last 6 in February. They swept here in 2014 with Regan. We talked about it earlier, and Casey Kane, who won in July. Noah Gregson hoping to add his name to the list, driving that 9 car.
Figure out their plan, because they're making one right now.
Yeah, it won't be to the end, man. Stay smart here. They're with you right now. I guarantee it'll be different with 5 to go.
But when it gets time to 5 to go, they're going to be talking about it. So we need to be ready and prepared.
We are. We got this.
Well, there you guys hear right now, Noah Gregson and crew chief Dave Owens are making a plan. They're basically trying to coach him up on what's going to take place as this race gets down to the end. As you see, we got 2 Chevys leading the pack. Right behind him, 2 Fords and then a Toyota. That's good news for Austin Syndrich, who was very worried about the amount of Chevys in the field today. Unfortunately for the Chevys, they've been separated from the majority of their teammates. We could see those manufacturer battles that we talk about so much here in just a little bit.
I just like the fact that Dave Ellens is the guy calling the shots. He's won 3 times here with 3 different drivers. Talked about that earlier. And if Gregson were to win, it would be 7 wins here for Junior Motorsports with 7 different drivers. That has never happened at any track in this series.
Well, speaks volumes of the program that you got going on, the emphasis you put on Daytona and this restricted plate racing.
And they are flying out there. This pack is over a second faster than any other pack on the track right now. 45.91 last lap time. Next closest group was a 46.64, so about 7/10 difference. That's a big difference out on the racetrack.
How nerve-wracking right now for a guy like Gregson, who's never won, and understands what this would mean, not just for his team, his career, but the season ahead.
Well, I think you could hear it in his questioning already. You know, he's antsy. Hey, 18 laps to go. What are we going to do in the last lap? You know, I mean, yes, trying to keep those emotions in check, but being nerve-wracking. The one, if I was to be nervous, I would think Allgaier, they need a caution. They need something to happen. Allgaier, Haley, Annette right here, and the other Junior Motorsports cars, these guys are in trouble without a caution.
They missed their pit stop, I mean, by a fraction of a second.
Paying the
They were
price.
just a little bit slow by a fraction of a second, and this is what can happen at Daytona when you're just a little bit off.
And despite the fact they've won both stages, I mean, we talked about this. There's been a number of issues today for the guys at Junior Motorsports. Allgaier in the pits, the spin for Annette, and then go out front. Noah Gregson got that speeding penalty early on.
It's Daytona in February. This is the first race of the year. There's a lot of knocking the rust off, trying to get back in the swing of things, and all those pit things are all the gremlins, all the attrition on a long race like Daytona. It all comes down to mistakes.
$14 to go. The laps are winding down really quickly here.
The two of you start to get a little anxious when we get to this point in the race?
Yes, but it's just way too much time to think about it.
I know it.
If I'm this front five, I've been thinking about what move I'm going to pull to finish this race now for 15, 20 minutes.
Absolutely, and we're so used to being in the seat, right? It's not this slow, Adam. Things are happening fast, even though you're single file like this and it's, counting down laps, the heartbeat's going up, things are getting intense. You're getting, caution.
Trouble. Here we go. Fifth caution of the day.
Is that Allgaier?
Allgaier's in it big time.
Allgaier's involved. Saw Josh Balicki sitting down there on the infield grass off the corner. And this changes everything.
In a big way.
And Allgaier, who had never won here at Daytona coming in, a pair of runner-up finishes, is going to have to wait once again. And there's Justin Haley.
Whole field back up together.
This is also big for Ryan Sieg, who had not made his final pit stop yet. He can come in, get service under caution, and will restart with that lead pack.
Huge opportunity for him. Huge opportunity for everybody that was behind JR, those cars, all of these guys. It's all game on.
Oh, looks like maybe a flat tire or something broke on this.
Left rear or something.
Yeah, that's Josh Balicki in the 99.
Clearly something's broke. He was way out of control. Oh no.
Unreal.
The 51 car checked up, which he should do, and it just was too much.
I don't know. They just didn't see it in time or something. They bear down on the 51 way too fast. Run right in the back of him.
That was a big break for Michael Annette, too, who went high.
Oh, man.
Spin ahead, stay at the top, second up right front of you.
Whoa.
Watch this guy, watch this guy.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? I mean, that was a combination of both, maybe.
Man, I don't know. They just didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, this single car spins in front of you. You can't see all the way around the bank here. The banks here at Daytona, the Fox cameras are so amazing that you just can't truly appreciate them from a camera. You got to try to walk these banks to understand how steep they are. And the penalty for that is they're really hard to see around. So
there's a blind spot. Everybody has it in your passenger car. Blind spots are big. Blind spots are major here. The banking is a big part of that. When you see a car, from the naked eye, watching from the cameras that we have, you can't see that in a car. You're looking up, trying to duck down, see over, out of the windshield, get yourself some view, and you can't see that. That's a definite blind spot right up there in the left, top left of the windshield.
And that roof camera, of course, it's got a higher view up than what you have inside the car. Inside the car, you can't see that high up. So,
and right here, well, it went away, but right there in your window net, there's a small hole right there to see what's going on ahead. Very, very tight.
Talking about Justin Haley and what a break that was for him. What about for Jeff Burton, who's second right now?
Still Noah, we've raced good all day, and I know it's going for the win, but no matter what, we don't need to do crazy blocks and wreck each other from a 1-2 finish if we can,
I will relay the message.
So here, we're going to get a restart. If your Gregson is the race leader, I'm assuming you take the outside lane, Burton lets him in line so you can work together, right? Isn't that the thing to do here?
You'd think so. I mean, there's 2 Chevys in the front, 2 Fords in the second row. But now everybody's back together. You're going to end up with, around 14 or 15 cars on the lead lap.
It goes back to the push on the restarts that Brad talked about at the beginning of the show. You can do that, but if these guys are bearing down on you and shoving you out there, you can't get down.
Yep. Said Ryan Sieg was going to have to pit. He's in now, Regan.
Yeah, they were right on their number with fuel. They needed that caution more than anybody. They were within a lap of pitting. They were going to do left side tires because they knew they would be coming in alone. 1 stop and go. This team was bleeding the brakes on pit road, so a great recovery for them.
He's still in it. So is Michael Annette. And don't write off Alex Lebay. Led all those laps. He gets the free pass, and he will restart inside the top 15. It's been a wild day here at Daytona.
For me, as a kid, being here and watching my dad win the 500 was definitely something I'll never forget. My uncle won a race here in July, and then Dad won the 500, so it'd be really neat for me to get the Burton name back in victory lane.
If he wins, he's going to be fired up, but maybe not as much as his dad. He's going to be fired up, too.
I want a word interview so bad. Victory lane. I could relive that. It's be so awesome.
When he won his truck race at Texas a number of years ago, Ward was on a spotter stand. I swore he ziplined to victory lane. That's how quickly he got there. Tomorrow, it's the 62nd Daytona 500. It's live on Fox.
Every dream begins with a dreamer.
Will win the Daytona 500.
This is the race where legends are made. They've all envisioned hoisting this trophy. Whose lifelong dream will become a reality? It's the Great American Race. Coverage begins 11 a.m. Eastern.
And that coverage will be right here on FS1 at 11. Over to Fox at 1. Green flag shortly after 2:30. And you two trying to win that big trophy for the very first time.
Here, Brad. Let me help you.
Yes! That guy! Wait. I don't want to circle myself. I think I'll just
look,
mess it
right
up.
here. That guy. Man, I'm excited. The Daytona 500 Great American Race. Both of us are in it, and I think I ought to win.
Yeah, I feel like we got a good shot at it.
Right? Don't you think?
I
mean,
why not?
Yes.
If these guys can run as well as they have without crashing, surely tomorrow we can do the same, right?
We haven't done a very good job of it so far.
No, we haven't.
The Clash wasn't very good, Adam.
It wasn't
our
a little
best
ugly
product.
at times.
Wasn't our best product, but the 500 is going to be big day tomorrow. Lots of people here to see it. Always excited to race in front of a crowd like that. It gets you pumped up. Watching this Xfinity race gets me pumped up. Watching that truck race last night, man. I'm telling you, those guys were putting on a show. So to get our turn at it for the Great American Race, gosh, I want to win that baby.
We're not done here. I mean, the finish that is in front of us could be spectacular.
That's right. Oh, what do you mean could be? It's going to be.
Looks like we're going to go back green with less than 7 laps to go. This ought to be interesting.
And the race leader is Noah Gregson.
The 98 would do a better job, but he's also going to be more apt to snake you. The 22, I think, is gonna push. His car's probably not strong enough to get a good run on you. He's got the 11 behind him. That should be a pretty good pusher. Very good Speedway guy. And then he would have the 39 behind him. So we'd be 3 out of 4 would be Chevys.
That's a lot to process right there for a young driver.
It is. But that's all the coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? I mean, those are all the scenarios. You're right, and this is a perfect scenario. Do this, find this guy. Trying to figure out that winning combination is something that you try to put on paper, but as soon as it materializes, as soon as they draw the green flag, everything changes, and then you got to be able to react quick. You and the spotter.
What is it? Mike Tyson used to say everybody has a plan until they get in the ring.
Until they get punched in the mouth, I think was the
anybody that got in the ring with Mike Tyson, that was a terrible plan to begin with. So.
Well, that's where we're at in Daytona. Everybody here has a plan until they drop the green on this restart.
And you saw it. 7 of the top 10 on this restart have never won an Xfinity Series race. And already, I'm surprised because you take the inside lane and now you put teammates side by side. To me, maybe not, but does this make it more difficult to work together on this restart?
It's going to, absolutely. But I think one of the things they have going for them, Adam, is that there's more behind them, right? Before it was just a pack of 6 cars if you count Sieg. Now there's going to be close to 15 cars all on the lead lap. Those cars are going to find them. And they'll have a few more friends, I think, but not a lot of laps left.
No, 8 to go, coming to 7 to go. This is the big time. This is the money on the line. All bets are off. All friendship is off. We've heard about all this. Is he going to be my friend? Is he going to push me? All that's out the window, boys.
All Junior Motorsports front row. Their teammate Justin Allgaier, a part of that last crash, went to the care center. He has been released. 7 laps remaining when we return to the green flag. 2 Chevys, 2 Fords, and a Toyota, your top 5.
Is this going to be the old okie dokie here, Brad, your teammate spoke of?
It's going to be a sight. Good push on the bottom right here. Chase Briscoe on Noah Gregson. Let's see if that can push him to the lead. You heard Dave Allen saying exactly that he thought Chase Briscoe could push really well. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to clear for the lead.
Can't lock
bumpers. Be careful to lock bumpers. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Get off him here.
Yep.
Still in line.
Oh, he got off him. He's going to make a pass for the lead.
Briscoe pushed him out and then looks for position, and he's got it. 98 to the point. Can he clear? Yes.
Comes up right in front of Gregson.
Oh, wreck.
And we got trouble. That's Jeb Burton. Austin Syndrich around.
A lot of great cars right here.
Oh, no. Big hits, too.
We didn't have a big one in this race 1 year ago.
That's inside 10 to go at Daytona.
Yeah,
that's all I can say about that.
Pushing back and forth on a restart. Bad things happen.
You saw Briscoe pull up, big block for the lead there. He got squirrely. I thought he was going to get turned around, and unfortunately it was back a little bit farther back. Lots of tore up cars right here.
Team Penske gonna remain winless.
Such a great day for Jeb Burton. Did a great job leading the first stage, was up front all day long. It's unfortunate it ends like this.
Good to see the window net is down for Austin Syndrich, and we understand that's the case for every driver involved in this accident. That's an indication to safety workers that those drivers are okay.
Looks like only 8 or 9 of our top cars might have survived this year.
But look what it did. Look at the difference it made for Justin Haley, for a Harrison Burton, the 20 car that's back into this thing. Jones, Gregson, Briscoe, this is going to be a finish. Lots of cleanup, though. Looks like they're going to be a red flag.
Yep, coming to a slow speed on the back straightaway. They will stop. And it looks like we are going to go under the red flag.
This happened right at towards the front of the pack in the top 2 or 3 rows. I'll have to get a look at the replay and see what caused it. Blimp cam maybe going to give us a great showing. I'm really
a huge push here with a big move for. Look at how sideways Gregson was right there. Move to the inside and then watch the 8 car as he gets to them, the 22.
So the 8's going to push the 9. The 22 is going to catch up to the
98 comes up and blocks and stacks him up right here. 22 gets in the back of the 8, knocks him down. The rest is history.
Just kind of one of those stack ups.
But it's a block. A block stacked him up and created that, but that block was a necessity. If the 98 of Chase Briscoe wouldn't have moved up and slowed down the momentum, he would have been passed right there.
Where is the balance on that, Brad? That's a conversation that's been a focal point all week long.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to continue to see this. And, you know, part of it is, you know, these cars can take pushes, but as it works its way back, that energy works its way back, as it did here, the 8 car couldn't take a push. He was already lifting and slowing down. Then he got hit from the back. Car's already light. Instantly turns him around. It's just, you know, to me, that's just one of them racing deals. There are some blocks that I think are bad blocks. I don't think that was a terrible block. He made one move, and it just all stacked up.
You know, one thing I saw, he didn't quite get all the way up in front of him. It was like he was trying to figure out, do I get up there? Do I not? Am I clear? You know, it was like he didn't trust his instinct or the spotter telling him didn't quite get all the way up.
Any of this related to inexperience as we go on board with Jeb Burton?
22. There we go. Okay, Noah's got room.
The 9 car was moving around a lot right there.
There you go. Still inside.
I'm coming.
The accordion effect. That's all there is to it. There's nothing you can do about it.
That was
Watch
just
this 11.
98 block the top, still inside 1 with you. 3 wide.
Wow, nice job, Justin Haley. Thread the needle twice in a row. 2 big wrecks. He's just barely made it through.
Put teammates pushing behind you on the outside, outside now. Outside, you're clear. Coming back outside, outside.
All right,
I got a wreck behind you. Keep digging here.
And
Just
poor
keep
Austin
digging.
Syndrich, you know, he didn't even see it landed
Keep
right
digging
in his
yellows
lap.
outside,
Put him
still.
out of the race.
I might have changed my mind a little bit after seeing that replay, Clint. It looks like the 98 was a little slow on the move.
Yeah, for sure.
And
so you're going to agree with me, Brad?
Yeah, after seeing that replay off the bumper cam of the 98, it looks like it was just a little bit slow on the move, and that caused a bigger stack up than what the field could take.
Well, you could tell he wasn't sure. I don't know if it was a spotter communication, probably not. The line was definitely coming. He was just didn't quite get all the way up there square with them.
Let's listen in on Team 98. Chase Briscoe will be the race leader.
That I about wrecked it big on the backstretch. I just second guessed myself. I should have just went straight to the top, but I second guessed it. It about cost me.
But you know the other thing
Clint's over here beating out his chest here.
I'm like Denny Hamlin. As a crystal ball, I knew it, man. Did you see that?
He knew it.
But the other thing that made me nervous there, and you and I said it, but before all that happened over toward the corner, when they came off of turn 2, those bumpers were real close to being locked, and that's something you got to focus on this restart.
He had to get off that bumper. He had to make a move because they're going to call that. We've seen it last year and time again. They will call that if you lock, and you do not want to do it with 6 to go.
You don't want to lose a race that way at this stage.
That's a tough way to lose it, but I'll give Chase a lot of credit. He made a great move off of turn 2 to get to the lead. It was really aggressive but smart, but also that block down the backstretch was just a little off timing, and that's what caused the chain reaction.
6th caution of the day has led to our first red flag with 6 laps remaining. Let's go to the pits and Regan Smith.
Well, Dave Ellens, you had a plan all day long with your race car to get control of this race based on the fuel mileage. That worked out. Now you've lost control of this next restart. You won't have lane choice, so what do you tell your young driver to do?
Yeah, I think we've been doing a pretty good job all day. We have a lot of speed in the car, so we don't have control of the race right now, but I'm hoping as much speed as we've had, we get a good push and we can retake that lead. But I think just keeping him calm, focused on what he's got to do for the last few laps, we should be fine with the speed we've had all day.
Seems like a new, more focused Noah Gregson behind the wheel of that race car for you this year. He said he talked to Dale Jr. Did he get a lot of good info during the offseason?
Yeah, he's definitely more focused than he's ever been. I'm really proud of where he's at as a driver, and Dale definitely helped him out. He's been making some moves that are a lot better than he had last year, so I'm proud of what he's doing.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
I'd say it's good to talk to Dale Jr., the boss man.
I'd say.
Has won here 17 times in the various races. There you see the driver. Yeah, 17. His dad won here 34. You saw all the drivers involved in the crash that has brought out the red flag. Here we are once again at Daytona. Under the red flag, you see the cars parked on the back straightaway. Chase Briscoe is the leader, and behind him Noah Gregson, who had the top spot on that last restart. They're firing the engines.
Camera.
Let's hear from number 9
Let's
here.
see if we can get the 9 on. Hey, Noah, it's Boyer up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, 10-4, Boyer.
Man, got a little dicey right there. Got a huge push off of 2. He went to the inside, come back up with a block. Man, things are getting intense. It's stacked you guys up. What do you guys see?
Yeah, just trying to focus on executing here. I'm trying to get this Bass Pro Shop, True Timber, Black Rifle Coffee. Number 9 Camaro in Victory Lane. Everybody at Junior Motorsports has been working really hard on this piece. Big man upstairs, Big Earl Marvin, he's been doing a great job today, and the pit crew as well. So thankful for everybody at Xfinity for allowing us to come out here and do this. We got a handful of laps left, so just trying to come up with a plan to execute this one out to try and get the win.
Well, man, you're holding pretty well. Keep up the good work. Good luck. A lot of history behind that car, bringing Junior another win, so let's see it.
Thanks, man. I don't like them, but congrats on the Chief.
I didn't know where he was going with that.
I didn't either.
Well, cars are back fired up. We're going to go green here, it looks like. Around 4 or 3 to go. So chance for some green-white checkers here to finish this race out.
Austin Syndrich in that last crash. Let's hear from him. He's at the Advent Health Care Center with Matt Yoakum.
and he has walked out dejected, but you saw it through your windshield. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, I haven't seen a replay, but the 98 definitely stacked up the top lane, and I gave the 8 a bit of a push there, and that got him sideways. I just don't know if he was wedged or not, if that's why he got so sideways. Yeah, we'll see the replay here. Obviously got a huge run, and then the 98's going to cover the top lane, and everything compresses from there. So that shoves 8 back to me. Yeah, just I don't think I got him in the wrong spot, honestly, but obviously he was in a tough spot. But you're supposed to push on the right side of the bumper, and I did, but it's Daytona Racing, told you before, law averages, so hopefully it turns back around the other way. But sad to be out of it with Moneyline Ford Mustang. Part of the deal.
Adam?
The highs and lows of Daytona. A couple of years ago as a rookie, it seemed like nothing went his way. Last year in his sophomore campaign, top 5 in every plate race. Today, unfortunately, despite the fact he was in the mix, is going to end his day in the garage.
I said at the beginning, it's emotional, man. It's an emotional roller coaster for all these guys. Did such a great job. You see Jeff Burton getting out of that thing, had it up front, led to first stage, doing everything right. All those guys putting it on the line at the end when the money's on the line, when they should, and just come up short. Things happen here.
Let me ask you, Quentin, do you think that was a bad push?
A bad push?
Yeah. It looked like he was pretty square on the car in front of him.
I don't think, I think he led to that, but no, it wasn't a bad push. I think it just compressed, and I don't think he turned him around or anything. It was a situational thing. The 98 did what he needed to do to try to win the race and stay in the lead and stay in control of this race. And the 9 car got pinched, had to check up, stacked them all up, and they wrecked. I mean, that's just Daytona racing, in my opinion. I almost thought that the 9 could squeak by on the outside, but, again, with 6 laps to go, it's just, is it time to get that close?
Back to the Advent Health Care Center in Matt Yoakum.
And Brett Moffitt has also walked out. And Clint Boyer said this is just Daytona racing, but it certainly is. So many moves at the end there. Blocking always starts it, but you live the end result.
Yeah, unfortunately, our Motorsports is a brand new startup team with help from GMS, and it really is a bummer because I felt like we had a fast enough Chevrolet to contend for a win there. But yeah, it's just late blocking. I guess those guys with the Fs on the bumpers, they like those late blocks this week, it seems. So maybe Brad can help him out a little bit too.
All right, thanks, Brett.
He was trying to help you there.
He was trying to help me. I think he was actually telling the point. The late blocks are the tough ones, right? They're the ones that stack everyone up. I always kind of say if you're going to block, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. If you're going to block. It's the kind of uncertain blocks that really seem to cause these types of accidents.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there. It was just a little bit of uncertainty, and it stacked them up. That's not going to be the last one, by the way.
Okay,
no.
There's a prediction. There'll be 3 to go.
Think there's any chance that windshield makes it?
I think the windshield will make it. I think it's great. All the kids are out.
I don't think it'll make it without a crack.
That's what insurance is for.
I know it.
The sun's back out. It's a beautiful day here in Daytona. It's going to be a great finish.
Briscoe
I'm pretty excited about this.
Briscoe takes the inside lane.
Look at it. They're still trying.
The windshield is fine.
I think so. We've been to Disney World, and that reminded me a lot, Brad, of our adventure
yes.
to Disney World there.
Trying to contain our kids. Cash and Presley weren't in that mix, were they?
Not yet.
Okay.
I didn't see them. I didn't recognize them yet.
Yeah, not yet. They want to be.
We're going to hear from them tomorrow on our pre-race show on Fox for the Daytona
Oh, my
500.
gosh. So Myers is there, right? Chris Myers is there. The last time I saw him, could you imagine the deflation of the ego for Chris Myers? The last interview I saw was Patrick Mahomes at the Super Bowl. The next one I look down, Chris Myers is interviewing 3- and 5-year-old kids for the Daytona 500.
It's a humbling business. Up front, it's Briscoe and Gregson. Behind them, 2 Toyotas. Teammates, Brandon Jones, Harrison Burton. And in row 3, Justin Haley, who won the Cup race here last summer alongside Timmy Hill in the 66.
Crowd's on their feet, and they should be. It's game on, baby.
Money time. This could be the last restart of the race.
Remember, once we get the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it's the caution or they make it back to the checker.
Pretty even lines right there. A lot of separation, to be honest with you, for a restart with 3 to go. But they're
nice
going to
move by Noah Gregson. He's got a great side draft off of Chase Briscoe.
And a lot of help with Harrison Burton, some good cars right there. The bottom line is definitely broke up.
Briscoe coming back in that inside lane. Drafting help from Brandon Jones.
Top is a little stronger here. You see 4 cars versus 3. A little bit of help coming from behind.
Alex Lebay, the Canadian, in that mix. 4th car back in the top row. Off of turn 4. 2 to go this time by. They continue side by side.
Bottom lane is definitely forming quick.
Briscoe led that lap.
Boy, if they keep at it like this is going to be a dead even finish.
Somebody will be in the middle. A lot of side drafting right here. I'm really surprised how much separation there is in the cars. I know it won't last long. You're going to see a lot of side drafting, some set.
Next time around, we'll see the white flag.
Chase Briscoe doing a great job covering the move on the 19 of Brandon Jones, but now the top is really strong.
Brandon Jones is really struggling to stay on Chase Briscoe.
Gregson got that push.
Look at Timmy Hill with a big push on the 20. Harrison Burton, he's going to have a big run right here.
9 leading as we come back to the white flag. But here comes the 20 of Harrison Burton. Across the start-finish line, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
This is where I feel like you got to get to the lead. You never know if that caution's going to come out. You see Harrison Burton go down to the bottom. I feel like, look at Gregson. He's way out front
He's
right
way
here.
out there.
Yep.
Big push coming from Timmy Hill.
Timmy Hill, this is incredible. What a Cinderella story it would be if he won this thing.
Man, he didn't stay on.
He's got a chance at it. There's not a lot of energy right now. They need to reform.
There's your wreck.
And there's a crash.
Very wreck I was telling you about.
Will we keep the green out or will they throw the caution? No caution yet for now. They're racing back. Gregson leads.
Yellow is out.
They're coming off of turn 4. There's the caution flag. It's over at Daytona. First career victory for Noah Gregson.
At Junior Motorsports, great job.
I'll tell you what, he drove a great race, guys. The move he made there on Chase Briscoe, back to top, down to get those side drafts, really organized his lane and helped. That was a really, really nice job by
Timmy
Noah
Hill,
Gregson.
3rd place. Did you see the pushes that he was giving Harris Burton? Man, I'm telling you, that was materializing to be wild off of turn 4.
Junior Motorsports has now won 5 of the last 7 races.
Slow down.
Here at Daytona in February. And Noah Gregson becomes the 7th different driver to win for Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's a record.
So many things have to happen to overcome and to be able to punch through to get in victory lane. All the attrition, staying out of these wrecks, survival, we talked about at the beginning, pushing, blocking, all those things. He overcome all of them to be the victor.
And when I say a 7th different driver, I'm talking about at one track.
Let's take a look at this last wreck that caused us to end before we got to the start-finish line. Michael Nett's going to get caught up in here, maybe from a push from behind. Everyone's going to push. It's the last lap, and it turns him
around. Yep.
Very similar to what we saw on the wreck right before this with Austin Syndrich and Jeb Burton.
Did get a report all the window nets are down for those drivers involved on the back straightaway.
I was really surprised that the lines, you know, there was a lot of separation for the end of the race like that, even coming down. And it all started from the drop of the green flag right there on the restart. They just weren't bunched up and tight the way I thought they would be.
Let's get a replay from our drone. Look at this.
It's great footage.
More of that tomorrow during the Daytona 500 on Fox.
Noah Gregson, this is a statement win for him. And we talked about who we think is going to step up to replace the big 3. If you're going to be one of those guys, you got to go win. He's done that here today at Daytona, the biggest stage for this series in our sport, and he earned it today. Led a lot of laps, ran up front, overcame some adversity, made a great drafting move. He's doing the burnouts in the grass. They're probably not going to.
And a fun kid. This is going to be a heck of a celebration. I like this guy.
21 years old from Las Vegas. 2 years in Gander trucks for Kyle Busch. He's now in his 2nd year for Dale Jr. in an Xfinity car, and he's taken Jr. to victory lane one more time. Good job, fellas. When we came on the air earlier, we said today we might just meet NASCAR's big superstar, and perhaps we have. Noah Gregson with his first career victory, and oh, does he know how to celebrate with the fans in Daytona. What do you say we go climb the fence?
He did this in Martinsville when he won, I remember, and shortly after he came down, it wasn't so pretty, so I hope the outcome is better. But I told you this kid would celebrate. He's a lot of fun to watch.
And not only does he win today, race number 2 next weekend, Las Vegas. He's going home with a big old trophy.
Trying to fan some flames here.
You said it, Clint. It's just hard not to love this kid.
No, he does a great job. Obviously, heck of a wheel man, but he's just got a personality. Somebody that's easy to follow.
Someday, Noah Gregson will eventually make it to victory lane for the interview. In the meantime, let's hear from the boss, Regan.
Well, Noah Gregson is taking his time getting to victory lane. Dale Jr. didn't. You came running into here. You were so excited for your young driver. Hey, you gave him some advice. What advice did you give him? Because it obviously played out well.
We just sat down and talked about all the scenarios that you can find yourself in at the draft and what to do, what to expect, and what to do with the cars and how they're acting around you. And we talked for a good while. It looks like, you use some of that stuff, and I like sharing that information with those drivers, and especially our guys, but really anybody that comes to me for advice, I want to be able to help them, and just a great day for Junior Motorsports, Black Rifle Coffee, and Bass Pro Shops True Timber. Man, Noah's been wanting to win so bad. He's working so hard. Got a lot going on in his life, and he's kept his head on straight. Great kid.
Winning at Daytona, whether it's as a driver, as you've done multiple times, or as a car owner, does it ever get old to walk into this victory lane?
Never gets old, man. I mean, don't expect I'll ever do it again as a driver, so I'll take these whenever they're coming, right? If I can get in here as an owner or a part of any kind of a success like this, it's a great feeling. You got a lot of people that are part of this. My sister and Rick Hendrick, all the people in the shop and the guys on the team. I mean, it's just fun to be able to celebrate all this with our company, and we got a great company, man. So many great people, and so it's good to be successful.
Maybe your next lesson to Noah Gregson can be how to get to victory lane just a little bit faster.
Absolutely. Let him have his fun, though, man. It's Daytona. You don't know if you ever get this win again or get a chance to celebrate here again, so do everything you want to do.
Congrats, Junior.
I love it. I love what he's doing. This is so great for him to show off his personality, but this is great for NASCAR and the fans to connect with a young kid like that.
Take it in, man. Junior just nailed it. That's exactly right.
I really like how he put the flag in the rear adjuster hole, and it's staying in there.
Yeah, wedge adjuster. Yep, stayed right in there. Did you see his Dukes of Hazzard slide across the hood? I mean, that was good, right?
He's having fun with it. No one's going to accuse him of not enjoying the moment.
So many great stories to come out of this race today. There's Bo and Luke.
Perfect. I love it.
I'd give that a 10.
Yes. He wasn't very good at the water bottle. It took him 2 or 3 shots to get his water bottle over the fence. But, man, he was good on the racetrack. There was a lot of guys good. A lot of stories today. A lot of people back there. Harrison Burton, Timmy Hill. Look at the finish, him coming in 3rd.
Brandon Brown, Ray Black Jr. These results unofficial because we did end it under caution, but
I will say this about Noah. That car was a handful today. I saw many times off of 4, I saw that thing out of shape. I saw it out of shape off of 2 right there at the end as Briscoe come off of him and went to the bottom. He held onto that thing, kept it underneath of him, and won the race. He drove his butt off. He earned it.
But Brad, he restarts once with the lead and loses it.
Yep.
There's a crash. He's in 2nd, restarts with 3 to go, and finds a way to victory lane. That's a big statement about his psyche as a driver as well.
He didn't lose his cool. The moment certainly demanded everything he had, and he gave it, and then some. That's what gets you to victory lane in Daytona.
But I think he needed to do that. He did mature, and he's overcome a lot. We've seen some of the things that he did. Some of the things that maybe he didn't do. Maybe last year. He answered that call, learned from those mistakes, learned from that conversation with Junior, and put it to good use.
Let's join the celebration.
Gregson climbs from this car victorious. Noah, 37 career starts. Your first win comes in the biggest scene of all of them. It's at Daytona.
That's right, Regan. I'm so thankful, and I want to bring this guy up right here, Johnny Morris. And this would not be possible without this man right here.
No, it wouldn't be
Johnny
possible without the Earnhardts.
That's right.
Buddy. You did great.
I'm so thankful for this opportunity, and just very, very proud of this team. Everybody from Junior Motorsports, this 9 team, everybody who works in the Fab Shop, Hendrick Motorsports, for just allowing this to happen. The power was awesome. Thank you to Hendrick Power, Hendrick Engines. Man, I'm speechless right now, Regan. I didn't think this would come, but there's so many people who made this possible for me. Dustin Ash back at home, the O'Hanley family, Jefferson Pitts Racing, Kyle Busch Motorsports, everybody who's helped me get to this point. I spent a lot of time with Dale Jr. this week, talked to him for about 2 hours, and wanted to be a better Speedway racer. He told me, go have fun. Records are checkers. You got to manage your gaps, be there at the end, and just go lead the damn thing. So that's what we did. So thankful for everybody at Bass Pro Shops. Make sure you guys go get your Black Rifle coffee right in Bass Pro Shops right here. These guys right here make it all happen for us. I'm so thankful.
Congratulations.
Thank you to all the fans. We did it! Woo!
You said that you wanted to manage the gaps and that Junior taught you how to manage the gaps a little bit better. That last lap, you got out to a pretty big lead. Did you have to really tell yourself to make the good blocks to keep out front there?
Yeah, I seen myself get pushed out in the mirror, and just trying to work all race long, managing how far out in front of the car behind me I got. And if it weren't for this Hendrick Power, I don't think we would have been able to get here to victory lane. So thankful for everybody at Xfinity. This thing was as fast as Xfinity Internet today. And how about Team Chevrolet going top of the board? Let's do it tomorrow for the 500, baby.
A nice balance of emotion and celebrating the names of his sponsors. Clint, you told me earlier in the week, last lap you want to be out front in case we see the caution. That was the case for Noah Gregson, and he wins it all.